In my early 20s, I was drowning in anxiety, and I thought, oh, God can just fix my life overnight. But instead, He told me something that completely shifted my perspective. I was in my prayer closet having one of the worst panic attacks of my life. I had just left the nest and I was trying to figure it all out. I was trying to figure out career, bills, family, friendships, dating, and it was all a mess. And so I had begun to experience high levels of anxiety. I grew up in the church, but around my early 20s, I rededicated my life to Christ. I just thought I could put myself on autopilot and Jesus would literally take the wheel, because clearly I was a mess, but nothing changed. So I anxiously prayed for everything: patience, peace, understanding, and even a husband. Why? I have no idea. I mean, I was 23 and that's what they told me to pray for. And I was very unhappy with my career and at work. And I was like, God, I need to know my calling right here, right now. And then somebody told me, oh, you just need to get in your prayer closet. And me, not even knowing what that meant, I had a walk-in closet in my apartment. And so I went into the closet and had one of the biggest anxiety attacks of my life. So when that didn't work, I started reading a bunch of scriptures about anxiety. Then I learned that you could petition God, like the widow in Luke 18:1-8. And like Philippians 4:6 says, be anxious for nothing and bring every request to Him. So I was like, bet, this weekend, I'm getting answers. I locked in, I listened to worship music, I was in my Bible, I was reading scripture, the whole nine. I thought God was going to give me a summary of my entire future. And then I got a daily devotional email to me that stated, you don't need anything else, it's all within you. Psalms 23:1, the Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. And for me, I was just like, cool. But then I see Joel Osteen preaching about the exact same scripture on TV. And I was like, is God talking to me? Like, I got so excited. I think that was my first time like really hearing God in that way. And I was just like excited, but I was also disappointed because I'm like, that's not what I want to hear. I wanted a vision, a prophetic dream, a blueprint for my life. Not, you already have it within you. But think of a caterpillar. Everything it needs to become a butterfly has already been placed inside of it since it was an egg. God has already prepared the way. It just needs to keep living and keep going. See, anxiety makes you fear tomorrow's inadequacy, but the peace of God lets you rest in today's provision. I realized I had been sitting in a locked cell when I had the key in my hand the entire time. From then on, when anxiety tried to creep in, I reminded myself of my newfound freedom. I lack nothing. And listen, I wish I could tell you that was the end of my anxiety story. I still battle it sometimes. The difference now is I know where my help comes from, and I no longer go into closets. I've learned to breathe, to pray, to rest in the truth that the Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing. And that's why I started this series, Wake, Pray, Overthink, because that used to be my cycle. I would wake up, talk to God, and spiral until I finally came to the end of myself and began to lean on God. I know what it's like to live with too many tabs open in your mind. And so this is why I started this series, so we can begin to close the tabs together. I even created a music companion to this called WPO Radio on YouTube. And it's a bunch of lo-fi tracks that I produce that can help you calm your mind. So if anxiety has you rushing to tomorrow or feeling inadequate for today, just breathe. You have all you need. You lack nothing. Take His peace.